Okay, time is 7:02. Welcome to the September 8th, 2021 Townsend Conservation Meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Townsend Wetland Bylaw. We will call the meeting to order and start with roll call.
James Gates, present.
Joan Savoy, present.
Jennifer Eaton, present. Okay, and this meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Okay, great. Chairman's additions and deletions. I don't have any of those. Okay, we have the agent's report from Jessica. And she's done several building permit intake reviews, a site visit for a 75 Turnpike. 73, sorry. And
then there was one other site visit.
Oh my goodness.
Maple, no, not Maple. It was in
Timberley Park.
yeah, it was Balsam.
Yes.
5
Yes,
Balsam. She
yes.
conducted the site walk with Joan on 9/1.
And James.
Oh, and James was there too. Okay, so she's emailed the DA, determination of applicability, to the applicant last week. Okay, and is reviewing the referral requests for next week, which we will get to later.
And I personally would like to thank the family on Balsam for submitting the RDA. You know, that was really nice of them to, you know, just check in with us. So thank you.
Okay, next is chair's report. Okay, first, I would just like to remind anyone who's attending the meeting who wishes to make a comment during the meeting that you need to be recognized by the chair before speaking. Please give your name and address. For those using Zoom, please use the raise hand button. Wait to be recognized, then state your name and address. This protocol not only maintains order of a public meeting, but it will also give fair opportunity for those wishing to comment. Minutes are up to date and will be posted shortly. And the emergency fever order was completed on Friday, 8/3. And thank you to the commissioners who rushed over to sign and our clerk for hand delivering the order to the water department. Okay. So approve minutes from 8/25/21. We don't have those. So we are going to, yes. Okay, appointments and hearings. Vote for officers. I put this on, of course, I put this on here just to get a general feeling. My opinion is I think we should probably wait until we have a full commission. I think we're doing great functioning, everybody pitching in for now. So if everybody's happy with that, we can wait to vote for officers.
Have we put out notice yet?
For one of the positions, and then
Yes.
I've got in my calendar to write another note to the BOS asking them to post the other
Because we
position.
only have 30 days to do that.
Yeah, I've got the calendar. Yep.
Yep, there are 2 openings on the Conservation Commission. So
One has been posted.
one has been posted and the second will be posted. And for those out there, future commissioners, we can't wait to welcome you aboard. Okay, so vote for offices.
So we're comfortable just leaving?
Somebody's raised their hand.
No.
Oh.
We're comfortable leaving things.
What's that?
Someone's coming in. Oh, our friend. James, are you comfortable leaving the officers the way they are for now?
Yes.
Yeah, I am too.
Regardless, even if we wanted to vote, I think Bill should be here.
Of course.
All right.
Okay, so shall we vote?
Oh, vote to not vote?
Vote to not vote?
I motion that we postpone any appointments of officers until further notice.
Motion to postpone voting for officers.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I
aye.
say it's unanimous.
It's unanimous. Okay, great. Okay, so moving on to 3.1. Discuss referrals sent to conservation by planning board for 5 Turnpike Road and vote to approve comments to return to planning board for their September 13th hearing.
It's a public hearing, is it not?
It is a public hearing.
Madam Chair, I have some comments.
Okay, first, would anybody like to see the revised plan and the map?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
And this is a copy of what the referral, what they want us to.
and so you're looking at it right now.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, great. Okay, so Joan, do you want to go first?
Sure, I have, so you have the stormwater, right? But I have, one comment, page 5 of the submission is, they're asking for a waiver of Townsend bylaw section 145-33C6 parking lot plantings, stating that there are only 2 trees involved in the parking lot expansion, and 1 will be preserved and 1 will have to be removed. Since there is no significant tree existing in the parking areas, they hope it's appropriate to request a waiver. I believe that if they're paving, they should be planting. The reason being, it's, you know, it's a new day. And I know when I pull into a parking lot, the first thing I look for is the shade tree. And if we can encourage shade trees to be planted, people will maybe sit under the shade tree, because most people, they get in or out of their car, they're checking their phone, they're sitting there, maybe they're taking a break before a meeting or getting into the house or whatever. But I think we have to, we suggest that they meet with Conscom, or excuse me, however it is done appropriately. And we request that there are trees that have to be planted for shade in the entire parking lot, just not just the new section.
Well, it is a grandfathered lot, but, and I don't know the bylaw offhand, but there should be a certain amount of trees per parking spaces. And regardless, the one that's being removed, I feel needs to be replaced within the parking area, something that's an urban tolerant tree that will take the wind and the traffic. In regards to the additional parking, I feel that trees should be added in respect to whatever the bylaw calls for per spot. I don't want to bust their chops too much, but at the same time, yeah, we need to upkeep the landscape and just the natural habitat.
I do know, Madam Liaison, maybe, I don't know if you know about it, but I know there was some of the apartments down on, down 13. They, I don't know, do you know about grandfathering? Can we say if you get the additional parking spots, the whole thing has to be treed? Are we
I'm
allowed
pretty
to
sure
do
you
that?
can.
You can't?
They'll fight that. But in regards to the
Additional parking spots.
we could push, but this also would be a planning board thing versus a conservation. I don't see any 100-foot buffer on here. I don't see anything that calls for, us to step in with our comments.
Well, actually, we do want to check, I think we should do a site walk and check the distance to the Squanicook River.
It should be on the plan.
It's not, is it not?
It's not, so.
Right, and it
but
should be.
well,
Right.
And Stan is good with that sort of stuff, so it. You might throw it back at him and ask him if he's done that work. I assume he has. That's why it's not on there.
My belief is that it needs to be checked, but we'll check with Stan first. Thanks, James. And then you've got the stormwater.
Yes, yep. Also, we should request the stormwater,
Plan.
the stormwater plan.
We need
the
a
plan report.
stormwater plan. Yeah. So, okay,
It might be with that, before we request that we should review the bylaws to see if there's a minimum amount of parking spots that require. I understand we're close to 60 parking spots.
I think anything over five or more. So,
The soil in the area, it's sandy gravel, very little clay in it. So the infiltration trench works. That's what we did on the rail trail, with it being sloped to it, and it works well. There is maintenance that has to be done periodically, every 5 to 10 years.
What type of maintenance does that involve?
You remove the riprap and replace it because it clogs up. Typically, people say they'll do it, then it just gets forgotten about. I'm not saying specifically town either, just my experience.
yeah, so that's an interesting calendar to keep, one that goes out 5 or 10 years, but, so that's some food for thought. Madam Liaison, so help us out, please, since we're all new to this. We are not in a position to give exact verbiage to the planning board, because we want to check into a few things first.
Is it the planning board or the CBA?
The planning
The
board.
planning board.
Just write your comments. I think as long as you have them back by the time that the hearing is held. What's the date of
The 13th.
The 13th.
Oh, it's Monday. Then you want to state your concerns. If you don't have exact, then you don't have exact. If you don't have time to get down there between now and then.
Okay,
So, and just
that's helpful.
pass it.
All right, thank you. So we would like to see a stormwater plan. Is that fair?
I don't think it's necessary. They're adding sporadic spots throughout the parking lot. It's not 58 in one area. I understand the point of it, but it's 6 one side, 12 here, 8 there. 6, 8, 14 there. And this was an island there, and I guarantee they just drive over it. So it's.
Jennifer, are you okay with letting that one go, or do you want that on there?
I would like to see a stormwater plan.
Yeah, we're adding, that could, in my opinion, it could be adding unnecessary costs to this, community, or to this project for them. I'll stand my ground on the trees and reviewing that they need to, but the stormwater management, they have to, recharge trenches, where all of the new parking is.
And that's what you described as what you
That-
did on the.
On the rail trail where the parking is, there's that stone trench.
Yes,
That's an infiltration trench. So that captures, that parking lot is pitched that way. And then it just captures the water and drains it back
Is he
in.
is that on the plan? the
Yep.
Infiltration?
Yep, recharge trench, recharge.
yeah, the
recharge.
central,
In every new parking area, it is with a 2% grade going to the recharge trench in the largest area.
okay, so I guess my concern isn't so much, it sounds like they have a plan, but the maintenance would actually be a concern if somebody is if they're not
And that
maintained,
could-
then they won't
That could
function.
just be a general note that's.
A recommendation, I would
Okay.
say we put it as a recommendation.
What's our recommendation?
Formal maintenance plan with timeline,
And you're saying it's like every 5 years?
5 to 10.
5
That's,
to 10.
I'm gonna defer that back to Stan.
Okay,
Let Stan tell us
Okay.
what it is.
Formal maintenance plan with timeline. For the
Because if this
recharge.
property uses salt, sand salt, versus just straight salt, the sand clogs it. And then that's when you have problems.
okay, and that's definitely,
I'm so glad you know these things.
yeah, it's great.
Okay, I feel strongly that I'd like to see the distances to the Squanicook River on the plan.
Yeah, I feel the same. I would like to see where it is.
Madam Chairwoman, do you accept public comment?
Of course,
Hi, my name is Joe Flynn. I'm in the butter at 14 Squanicook Terrace. I wanted to point out a couple of things. I've heard some interesting points of discussion here vis-a-vis the stormwater discharge. So I wanted to point out that first, in this application, the application states on page 4 that no stormwater issue, and I take difference with that because approximately 15 years ago there was a major issue with their stormwater discharge at that site. The site today is not tied into the town's stormwater discharge system. In point of fact, if you look at their revised plans along that access road, at the point just above my property at 14 Squanicook, almost at exactly the point where it says 400.5 feet, the entire stormwater discharge for that complex and exits into an open culvert directly behind my property. And it's located squarely within the Squanicook River 200-foot buffer zone. I got the Conservation Commission involved in this about 15 years ago. The agent came out and did a walkthrough of the property, and they actually did determine that that stormwater is discharging directly into the protected buffer zone for the Squanicook River. And from there, it's a direct shot across the road from my property into the river. So the addition of 56 additional parking spots at that complex is going to introduce a significant quantity of hazardous chemicals and waste into the protected river area. Okay. The problem we had at the time is along that access road, there's no curbs and the storm drains were constantly being blocked. And so all the storm water rolls east, southeast, downhill to the property abutting Squanicook Terrace. And it all ran along the fence and through my property and then down into the river. So several times my basement gets completely flooded with a torrent of stormwater discharge coming off that property. To add 56 additional parking spots, to me, in my mind, I don't see, when I looked at their proposal, it says no stormwater issues. The addition of that many parking spots and the chemicals that are present in those parking spots is a significant impact into an area of critical environmental concern. It does fall within the Squanicook River protected area. Now, today, they would not be allowed to have a stormwater discharge plan that emptied into that area. And it's my position that the addition of that many, according to the Squanitisset stewardship plan, any major project that introduces significant change to the amount of stormwater entering a protected area would cause that to be an issue, and they should be in compliance with the laws as they stand today. So that's my understanding of how grandfathering works. I've checked with the last time we had this issue, we negotiated with the property, and we agreed that they would construct a berm along that access road to contain the stormwater. And as soon as everybody agreed to it and the meetings end, that was it. They never did the work. And they have failed to maintain their storm drains. They don't clean them out on a regular basis. You're talking about a potential serious impact for the abutters at that property. And you're also talking about a serious impact to a critical resource, which is the Squanicook River. It's directly across the street from my property.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate your input.
And could you just tell me your address one more time, please?
Yes, I'm at 12 Squanicook Terrace.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
So if you look at their plan and you look at the map, right along that access road where it's got that 400.5 foot mark, my property, you can see it delineated as Flynn. So my major concern is that I do not want a repeat of what happened before with their stormwater management, because as far as I'm concerned, they don't care about it, they don't manage it, and all we ever got from them was lip service.
Thank you.
Thank you very
helpful.
much. Thank you for your input.
I'm all for keeping stormwater playing on there, especially now.
Yeah,
Buffers need to be put, maybe this map needs to be enlarged.
yeah, I'd like to see.
And maybe an existing site survey needs to be done.
Okay.
We've got, we can have,
If this is an issue, there's PFOAs that come from the cars because of the car washes and waxes and this and that. And all those other chemicals that wash straight across. Now, the infiltration trench will help because of the sandy soil, but at the same time, if there's already an issue there, it's pitched right towards all those neighbors. And if it's an existing problem, if they don't maintain their storm drains, catch basins as it is, then, yeah.
Okay, so help me out. So we want a formal maintenance plan with a timeline for the recharge. We want distance to the Squanicook on the plan. We want, what did you just say, James, please?
I think an existing site survey.
Yeah.
Where all this water runs.
Yep.
okay,
Or the
I don't think,
commission.
if the neighbors are having problems,
Yep.
we
Existing
need to at
site
least
survey.
listen.
What was the other thing? Oh, stormwater. And trees, right?
yeah, we haven't even gotten to the trees yet.
Stormwater plan and then.
Hey guys, it's Jessica. I believe hi, sorry I'm late.
Hi,
Hello. I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe I was told that this plan, they put in a waiver for proposed landscaping, that they would not do any tree plantings.
They did. It's page 5.
So, I think, yeah, with the amount of impervious surface that is being proposed, I think some sort of planting mitigation
Buffer.
is
Yeah,
especially, with all the environmental concerns of the property and some clear stormwater problems.
Okay. Planting mitigation, we'll use that verbiage.
Oh, boy.
That sounds great.
Thank you. Okay,
Is there any way we can get out there before they use these comments back?
no, the comments, we can
Just send the comments.
just send the comments and then we'll,
Okay.
you want to read those and then we'll
But
vote?
it's a
Okay.
link. It's-
Madam Chairman, could I interject again? Do you mind?
Not at all. Go ahead.
Can I give you a little bit of clarification?
Of
If you'll,
course.
okay, so if you would allow me to share a screen, or maybe I don't even have to, but I also want to point out that where that culvert discharges all their stormwater right now is up slightly uphill from me, and it also falls squarely within the FEMA floodplain. So today, if that proposal came to you to drain stormwater into a floodplain in an area of critical environmental concern, would you approve that plan?
Probably
I
not.
can't say for
We
the
can't say, but
commission.
it doesn't sound good.
Okay,
It
yeah.
doesn't sound very good to me.
Okay, so what I'm saying is the addition of 56 new parking spots then would, in my mind, would require them to come into compliance with what the laws are today. And that's the understanding I also got from the state Department of Environmental Concern. So it is clearly, if you look at my property on a FEMA flood map, you can clearly see that where their stormwater discharges today, just through an open culvert, lies within that floodplain. So it is a significant impact to all the abutters, and not only that, but it's discharging a lot of chemicals into a protected area.
Okay, we'll include that in our comments. Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
So you read that and we'll vote.
for the comments for the planning board's referral for the project on 5 Turnpike. Vote to submit recommendation for formal maintenance plan with timeline for the recharge trench is show the distance to Squanicook on plan and FEMA flood plain.
Mhm.
Yeah. An existing site survey, a stormwater plan, and planting mitigation.
Landscape buffer.
Landscape buffer, thank you.
Because that plays into the stormwater management plan. Will help at least help them.
In our comments, do we want to include that we have concerns that
This is gonna come back, it's gonna volley back to us at some point. I
okay,
assume.
I also know we're not the only board that has these similar, I'm pretty sure similar.
no, it says on it, it's going to several different boards. Okay,
So we'll vote.
we'll vote.
I
to-
vote that we approve the comments you just read to submit to the planning board for the project.
I second that vote.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye. Okay, that is unanimous. Okay, great.
thanks for checking.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Flynn.
You're certainly welcome. Thank you.
That brings us to 3.2. Thoughts and comments on Townsend area of critical environmental concern. Sorry, I left environmental out. And Joan, you said you had, yes,
Yes,
you
thank
said you
you.
had a map?
Well, I brought this up at the last meeting because this is, I went on the statewide map of all ACECs in the state. And James, look at us up here. There aren't a lot of areas of critical concern in the state, but we are certainly smack dab in the middle of one of them. I'm going to, by next meeting, know the percentage of Townsend that is in the ACEC, but it's pretty high. I'm sure it's like near 50. Well, I shouldn't say, I don't really know, but from looking at the town map, it looks like a lot. So I would just like to say, the Massachusetts ACEC program overview is for local and regional stewardship of critical resources and ecosystems. And it's administered by the Department of Conservation and Rec. So what they do is they are increasing the environmental oversight by increasing state permitting standards for through elevated performance levels and lowering the thresholds for review for any building or projects in the ACEC. And the purpose of the program is to increase the level of protection for anything in the ACEC. I just think it's something, I don't believe in the past it was something considered so much by conservation. I personally think we need to start looking at it if and when it comes up. That's my opinion.
So I haven't had a chance to formally review it based on just what you said to me. I feel that as a town and a community that we need to look at this, how can the town change their practices on, road maintenance in these areas. I'm a huge proponent of straight salt, but there's certain, you put down too much salt. You put down the right amount of salt, it's fine for the environment. It's actually better than sand. It doesn't clog storm water. It doesn't clog up the streams. It doesn't add silt and sand to like the Squanicook.
Okay.
But
I have
that
noticed,
is one thing that not just going after these, I'm sorry, not just changing the threshold of people trying to complete projects, but also the town and how we
course,
manage it. We
and how
shouldn't
we
be,
educate
we shouldn't be
people.
special. But we should be held to the same bar, if not change our practices.
I'll reach out to the
Absolutely.
state. They have
Yeah.
guidelines about towns salting versus
I
sanding.
know, I have driven through
Massachusetts-
towns.
Massachusetts is working on it. They're not as advanced as New Hampshire.
Mhm.
But they are slowly, a lot of the state level stuff in town. New Hampshire is really ahead of the curve. New Hampshire and Minnesota.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I have driven through towns that have signs up that say reduced salt area. I don't know what it would take to get.
Well, and that has to do with the environmental impact of that certain area. You also have that threshold of safety that you have to follow closely. So,
Yeah.
but there's other ways to, you can treat the salt, you can anti-ice before the storm, you can use liquids. Liquids are a huge proponent for liquids. They're a little bit more environmentally friendly because they're already active when you apply. So they react up.
Well, that's interesting.
So I think a good start for the plan or an awareness of ACEC is we should get a really good detailed map that would show.
Yeah, we have the
exactly-
town,
I've
there is a
seen
good
it.
town map
Um,
showing the ACC.
Yeah, I'd like to see
I could
that.
actually-
But
And
it
then-
will-
I'll bring it in for
overlay
next
of-
meeting.
Of the areas of the critical areas of concern.
Right.
Yes,
Maybe we end up spending a couple of dollars and having the print done so that. we
Right.
can-
I think it would be great to have that
I
done.
think, well, and
Might
I
be
want to
nice
know,
setting up.
so we want the map and we want to know the percentage, and I believe it's quite high. So I will promise then for next meeting, I will get in touch with the state and find out if they have any information on town salting and ACECs. James, is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll work on an ACEC map of the town and the percentage.
I can do some research as well
Great.
on, and, common impacts to in the ACEC,
Great.
the communities.
So I mean, you know, I,
I can provide files of information on salt usage.
Yeah.
You know, location.
Yeah, if you could
Please
even
send-
just,
send it
yeah, if
to
you could
us,
just send it
yeah.
electronically,
I'll send you
that would be
a
great.
folder. So,
Awesome.
and you know, with all the new MACC classes coming up, hopefully they're starting to touch on
Yeah.
some of this. in
You
some
should
of the
see
classes.
exactly.
It's still, in Massachusetts, it's still
New.
hit or miss.
Okay.
So 600 pounds lane mile is a lot, and that's not unheard of in the state of Massachusetts.
All right, so we're educating ourselves and then that's a start, a good start.
Yeah, and then we'll pay it forward. Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to 3.3. Towns and wetland bylaw fee schedule, view comparable rates and vote on whether or not to increase. Okay. Joan, you sent out the rates, the current rates for our fee schedule. Did you get that, James?
Last meeting, I
Last meeting,
I
she
gave
handed
her,
it out.
I gave
Yeah.
her copies. Here they are. So we can
Yeah.
share my copy.
Okay,
And you've got,
okay. And I have a copy of Groton, and I have a copy of Pearl. Their fee schedule is structured a little bit, so you may have to read on to the next page.
can I ask that we be emailed this and we can review it and make a decision at next meeting? I would be more comfortable rather than making a decision on the spot right now. Is that fair?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, that's Groton. Okay, is that good? That's
yes,
fair?
okay.
All right.
So I'll need a motion to,
I make a motion that we, the commission review the fee schedules of Groton and Pepperell compared to Townsend and vote on that next meeting.
I second that.
okay, all in favor? Aye.
Uh,
Okay, that was unanimous.
One quick comment, however we do decide to vote, I don't want to see a shock to the system. If our fees are that low, I think we need to.
Yeah, take a look. I mean, it's just that we have a very well-constructed chart, and it would be nice if we had another chart like that to look through, but theirs is more written into their bylaws.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a chart, so when you get these,
That's fine.
you just have to read a little bit. But some things seem comparable, but others don't. Okay, great. So moving on from that. Okay, we'll move on to number 4.1, update on, in correspondence, we have an update on the Campbell Farm CR. And the update is that yesterday morning, I met with Dana Roberts, and he reviewed our copy that was reviewed by town council. And we have 2 minor edits to it. And it looks good so far, but we still have to hear from the planning board, and it should be on their agenda to review it at their meeting on the 13th, Monday. So they'll be reviewing that. And if they're okay with it, then it will be, if they approve it, then it's ready to go Monday. So that's the
That's
update
great.
on
Thank
that.
you. And then it has to go to EEA,
Yes, it'll go back to
and then
EEA.
it goes to back to town council.
It'll go to EEA, and hopefully it won't come back to us, but it may come back to us to do some more changes. But once they send it to their legal, for their council to look at it, and they approve it, then it will come back to us for signatures. Did I get that right, Madam Liaison?
Pretty much, yeah. And there could be one more pass. It's hard to say, but that's pretty much the process.
Fingers crossed.
And you'll get a a notice that says ready for local signatures. When you get that notice, then it's time for.
Good to go.
everybody sign.
Okay. Okay, so that will be great. We'll get that notice. Okay, so 4.2. And this is for Madam Clerk, we have a legal notice.
Am I to read this legal notice?
Yes, for 18 Main Street.
This is from the Zoning Board of Appeals Office via that fax and referral notice. In accordance with MGL Chapter 40A and the Townsend zoning bylaw, the Townsend Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a remote access virtual public hearing on Wednesday, September 29th, 2021 at 5:45 p.m. on the application of Hannaford Brothers Company LLC under zoning bylaw paragraphs 145 through 57, 145 through 64, and 145 through 66. The applicant is requesting a variance from the commercial and industrial district signs bylaw and/or appeal of the building commissioner's determination to allow for a total of 3 signs affixed to the Hannaford building where 1 sign is permitted. The property is located at 18 Main Street, Assessors Map 41, Block 4, Lot 0, in the outlying commercial district. There is a Zoom meeting link, which I'm sure can be found online for this meeting being held on September 29th. Project description: proposed replacement of internally illuminated Hannaford wall sign, install a new non-illuminated welcome wall sign, install a new non-illuminated Hannaford to go wall sign. Applicant Hannaford Brothers Company LLC, 18 Main Street. I just said that, and I think that's it.
Okay, great.
Oh, and it is the legal ad Groton Herald, September 10 and September 17, 2021.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And that is also a referral. We'll be asking for our comments before that September 29th hearing.
Okay.
And
So we have
then-
to put that on the 22nd
Great.
agenda.
So then we have 4.3, legal notice from planning board for 203 Main Street.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Also from the Zoning Board of Appeals, in accordance with MGL Chapter 48 and the Townsend zoning bylaw, the Townsend Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a remote access virtual public meeting on Wednesday, September 29th, 2021 at 6:15 p.m. on the application of Paul and Lori Martin for a special permit and/or appeal of the building commissioner's determination under zoning bylaw chapters 145 through 18, 145 through 64, and 145 through 65. The applicants are proposing to construct a deck within 1.1 feet of the side yard lot line on the easterly side of a pre-existing non-conforming residential structure at 203 Main Street, Assessors Map 26, Block 23, Lot 0, excuse me. Public remote only access to the meeting is available via the Zoom link that can be found on the town calendar. Project description: construct a deck addition with 1.1 feet of the side yard lot line of a pre-existing non-conforming residential property. Applicant Paul and Lori Martin. Locus address 203 Main Street. Parcel ID Assessors Maps 26, Blocks 23, Lots 0, and residential RA3. And again, the hearing is on Wednesday, September 29, 2021 at 6:15. It's a remote Zoom meeting. Legal ad placed Groton Herald, September 10 and September 17.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
they'll be looking for our comments as well. Okay. 4.4, effective immediately. All legal notices will be published by the Conservation Commission and will be featured in either the Lowell Sun, or the Sentinel and Enterprise publications. And the applicant is to be billed. And 4.5, clerk to report about availability of funds to the Conservation Commission.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I met with the town accountant and I handed out to the commission at the last meeting the ledger history of our the funds available to the Conservation Commission. So the first is the toxic use reduction grant. There's $666.48. I have Googled that. I cannot find any information that the state has posted. I am assuming it would be used to reduce any toxic things at any site. So it's not a lot of money. So it's $666, but it's there. Then the second one is the Wetlands Protection Act. That fund has $11,376.15 in it. That is our NOI, a Notice of Intent depository account, and we can pay for our MACC classes out of that, those that pertain to the Wetlands Protection Act. Third fund was the Old Meeting House Park Revolving Fund. This $20,225.76 was generated from tree cutting profits because they logged. And so that money can be used for upgrades in Old Meeting House Park. Then the next one is the escrow by agreement, Cy Realty cash unrestricted, and the Squanicook River cleanup. We received a donation there of $1,015 and change, and the escrow account by Cy Realty is $2,825. Not sure what that is on that one. The Squanicook River cleanup, that gift, that's $1,000 plus. So if we had to use that, we could. I'm going to do some more research on the Cy Realty and I'll report back. The sixth one is a conservation land fund. We can buy, the Conservation Commission can buy land with that. There's $63,993.98 in that. It is my understanding that the town routinely donated or contributed $5,000 a year to that fund, and that ceased in recent past years. So I am going to research how we can present that at a town meeting to have the town start contributing $5,000.
Private land, or could the Conservation Commission purchase even town land and put it into conservation?
Madam Liaison?
I don't know the answer to that. If it's town land, we already own it. Transfer the title,
So
you know.
Or put it
There
under
was a reason I asked
conservation
that.
restriction.
with Squanicook Meadows, I want to go off the record saying this. National Heritage requested a conservation restriction on it if we can do it or pull it off. And it's something, I know we need to discuss, but is that
That would be a possibility, I suppose, and I don't know, but we are going to discuss exactly that at one of our meetings coming up, so look for that.
no, and I'm part of the lease board on that, but I try to stay out of too much
Okay.
of that. So
Yeah,
I know what's going on down there. It's just, it was kind of a question, what those funds can be used for, if they're intended just for private use or to purchase private land.
or if it could be used to steward the conservation restriction.
Okay.
It's certainly something to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, good, thanks. And then finally, then there's the general fund. but that's our agent's salary, our administrators, administrative assistant salary, which we don't have one right now, but we don't want to still mess with that. And we do have an agent clothing allowance. Woo, Jessica, yep, you're there. And so she will be getting that. And that's it.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing more about those different funds. Okay, so 4.6, email from Thomas Rebula at DEP regarding DEP number 308-0681 and 308-0682 South Road Road, Lot 1 and 2, requesting sidewalk for Tuesday, 9/14. We responded with the request to schedule Monday, Wednesday, or Friday so that our agent may be present. And we've heard back with the updated site walk is going to be Wednesday,
The 15th
15th
at 11.
at 11 a.m. And that'll be great because she can attend. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? Hopefully everybody can make it. All right, items for discussion at next meeting. We will be discussing at the next meeting comments for the planning, it's actually for the zoning board of appeals, for the referrals for 18 Main Street and 203 Main Street. We'll be providing comments. And
So we
anybody
will
want-
be getting digital copies of those proposals.
yes, I'm gonna request them from Beth so that we can look over a plan. We can get the plans to everybody.
I do have copies of those, so I can forward them to you guys.
Oh, okay, thank you, Jessica.
Yes.
Okay, great. Still have
Madam
some
Chair, I have
time.
something I'd like to add for discussion at next meeting. if I
Okay.
may. So we know what Japanese knotweed is, an invasive species. And I actually saw someone today who had made a planter box in front of their house and they dug some out from across the way and put it in there.
No.
I was like, oh no. And so I just want to, I don't know what we're allowed to do, but I want to have, are we allowed to like have a piece of paper made up with like a picture, like it's pretty, but, and like put
You
it
don't
in,
need it. They have plenty of things you can print.
and put it in people, right, and put it in people's mailboxes saying, hi, Conservation Commission thought you might like to know that it's an invasive species, and if you can't pull it out, at the very least, don't let it flower. And
Not just knotweed, but all invasives. I think a lot of people need to be educated.
The
Oh,
knotweed,
invasive.
I almost feel that we need to post something on the public board.
fabulous idea, I think
And,
you're right.
It's funny that you brought that up, Joan, because I was looking on our town website today. I don't know where it is, but it is on the invasives tab on the Conservation Commission page. And it's like a PDF of a trifold brochure saying, how to properly, or it's about landscaping and how to properly dispose of your grass clippings after mowing. And saying that if you don't want to mow as much grass, you can instead plant ground cover plants. And in the list that's on that brochure on our website is periwinkle and English ivy and something else. But I think like half of the plants that were listed are invasive. So I would recommend that gets updated.
That will be,
Okay.
that will be reviewed.
I personally, I was just in Vermont and driving along Route 89, the Japanese knotweed, but if you travel in Massachusetts out the Mohawk Trail, Route 2, you see nothing but Japanese knotweed, and it is so upsetting because everything else has been overtaken by the Japanese knotweed. So I kind of would like to, just the Conservation Commission to cobble together some kind of, I don't know, I mean, I know you can't put anything in anyone's mailbox, but maybe we could like hang things or, you know, or if we see, you know,
Public notice.
public notice, or couldn't we just like, but if you see a house, could we like go up and like, put, you know, hang something off their mailbox with a rubber band, like a little thing
Like
that
pictures
says,
of it cracking people's foundations and.
So
I don't know what.
there are towns in New Jersey that, I think it's New Jersey, if you report Japanese knotweed, they're out there within a week.
Yeah.
removing it.
Yeah.
With that said, I've also watched, not to pick on our DPW guys, but I've watched the DPW guys mow it when they're mowing the
Right.
road, just because they don't know that, they just don't know, and they're told to go mow.
Right,
I don't know if it's paid to, you know, put out a public notice, but it should be formal and, you know, if this is an issue and that. You know, and like Joan said, public information.
well, Jessica, we'll work with you, we'll do some more research, and I don't know if we can even do a mailing, like even a postcard mailing with a picture of it to all town residents saying, watch this stuff.
Definitely something
You
on the
know,
website.
something, because people just don't know.
Joan.
It is beautiful.
Joan, we have the fund, if we have the funds, why can't we put a
Well,
direct
That's a
purchase
great
mailer?
idea, Dave.
what, Dave?
He could put something on the TV.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you, that's great, okay.
Okay,
So we'll
work
Plenty
on
of
that.
public
Work on
information
this.
out there, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, then you wanna get something from a .edu or.
But I would love something just to be able to tape to somebody's mailbox, you know, saying, hi, just thought you'd like to know, because I see it growing all over. I mean, you see people cultivating it. I mean, like, you know, really. So, okay, thank you.
That's not a good thing. Okay, great. So next meeting is 22nd. September 20, next meeting will be Wednesday, September 22nd at 7 PM. Okay, and
A motion to adjourn,
motion to adjourn.
say the time.
Motion to adjourn at 7:59 PM.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
uh,
Aye. It's unanimous. Okay, great. So
We're done.
we're done. That's it.
Hartley, thank you.